Hi everyone, happy Friday. I want to start sort of posting different types of content, and one of the things I want to do is start to share some best practice, share some ideas that I have, and the way I deal with things personally, and hopefully that will get across to people, and they might take some of the tips. They might think it's really great advice, and I'll try and focus on different subjects each time, so I can sort of just kind of, as I say, share the best practice that I've come across. And what I want to talk about today is mistakes. I think that a lot of people find mistakes and things that go wrong and negativity within either your business life, your work life, or even your personal life quite controlling, and they can send you into quite negative spirals, into depressed states, into kind of really negative situations. And what I want to talk about is how I've dealt with them in the past, how I deal with them now, and kind of also kind of how that translates to the business world. Really short and sweet without going into lots of detail. I'm human just like the rest of you, and I'm a bloke, and there's lots of stigmas around men and how we deal with things, and I've certainly been a product of that. I've certainly reflected and been kind of very much in that mould of the stigma of a bloke, where I don't deal with my emotions, and I don't I'm not perfect at dealing with negativity and mistakes, but what I've tried to do as I've got older and as I've sort of progressed in my career is I've tried to reflect and look back a lot, and try to develop positives out of all of the mistakes and negativity that I've been part of. And as a result, what I've tried to do is learn from them. And there's lots of different ways you can do that, and some people are better than others. It's certainly not an easy method, but it can get easier if you try different things. One of the things that I started to do a while ago, didn't even realise I was doing it at first, but sort of brought more structure to it as I went through, both in personal life and in business, was whenever anything negative happened, whenever kind of I had a bad reaction, or something in my work life didn't go quite to plan and came across really negatively, and I was frustrated about it and annoyed about it, I'd let that frustration happen. I'd let that negativity come out of me. That's obviously a positive thing. You need to let it out. Don't bottle it up. And then take some time. It can be 1 minute, it can be 5 minutes, it can be a couple of days, it can be a week. But also, you have to reflect. You have to go back and think about it. You have to feel that again without the emotion. You have to go through that again without the emotion. And within that, talk to yourself and control how you feel that can go next time. So learn from it. Find ways and tips that you can not make that happen again. Simply note it all down. That's one of the best ways to work through things. If you perhaps you did something, talking short term, you made a mistake, you wrote something incorrectly or something like that, you could learn from that mistake if you focus on it. If you don't focus on it, if you shrug it off, if you treat it as a negative and go, oh god, that happened, that was bad, and forget about it, it'll happen again. It'll happen again, and you don't want that to happen. You want to become better. You want to improve. The only way you can improve is to cherish those mistakes, is to value those mistakes, turn them into a positive, turn them into a learning focus. So what I've put together and what I want to talk about is kind of what I used to do quite strongly, and I've become a little bit worse at it, but I've also become more fluent with it, so I do it whenever now. But what I used to do is weekly. I used to make a short list, could be anywhere between 2, 3, 4, 5 things, depending on the week that had just gone by. At the end of the week, I'd make a list of things that went wrong. It can be tiny things, can be tiny little things, it can be minute conversations that were had that didn't quite go the way they were. It could be major things, it could be massive strategic things that just didn't go to plan, deadline came and it went poorly. Jot them down, sentence or two, not too much detail, and no emotion. Just write down what happened and the negative output. Write that down, leave it to one side, but don't forget about it. Take as much time as you need. Again, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 days, 4 days. Go back to that list at some point when you're feeling confident and happy, and look at it and literally make as many notes as you can, as though you were training someone to not make that mistake again. So put that someone else in that boat, put someone else in that list, and tell them what you would do differently. Writing it down is just a method of remembering things and just putting it, sort of cementing it in your head a little bit, but writing down those notes of how you'd improve things next time, what I found was that increased the possibility of it not happening again. So obviously it decreases the mistakes that happen. I use it in an emotional state, in a personal life kind of situation. If I have an argument or I lash out about something, we're all human, we all have emotions. and I react a way that I don't want to react, it can be a minute, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it can be the next day. I'll reflect on that and I'll think, why did I react like that? And I'll change my behaviour for next time. I'll try and be better for next time. So that's my little tip for today. Cherish your mistakes, value them, find a way that you can look back at your mistakes and go, okay, so that happened in my career. Why did that happen in my career? Maybe I shouldn't do that again. How can I not do that again? And structure it like that. Make it as simple as possible for yourself. Don't involve emotion unless you need to at the time. Try and take as much emotion out of it. Try and step back and view it almost as it's a different person and you're training that person. And ultimately you'll train yourself. Anyway, that's my little tip for Friday. There'll be a few more of these, hopefully as time goes by, and I'll try to keep them a bit shorter than this one. But I hope everybody has a good weekend. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.